What's up guys, Houndish here, and today it's the weekly reset. So ahead of time, we're going to jump in and talk about some of the updates this week. There will be a new patch, so as always, some downtime will come with that, but we know about a couple of changes that'll drop. And additionally, of course, we'll get the second part of Act 2 for Episode 1. So we'll talk about quest steps, the new activity for the week, upgrades, and more. Plus, there's a quick mention for the Perfect Paradox shotgun that'll be dropping in a subsequent week. On top of that though, we have farmable exotics, a Bungie bounty event that'll be taking place at Reset, plus Bungie give us updates on challenges, and we'll discuss some farmable rewards for the week. So, as always guys, I hope the video is useful. If it is, a rating below very much helps us out, but now, let's get into it. And first up, we are getting yet another update this Tuesday. This has pretty much become the norm at this point. Of course, it's good that Bungie are fixing issues, but it does always mean that we get a little bit of downtime immediately before the weekly reset. This week though, we get update 8008, and given that we're all so mature, players on Reddit pointed out how this patch number visualizes, we've come so far, and we've grown so much. I must say though, personally, this has the potential to be my favorite update ever. In terms of changes for this patch though, we don't know too many, but Bungie did highlight that there is an issue with Xur's Strange Favor buff, and while the buff streaks haven't gone anywhere, they have said that the bonus Strange coins are not being granted as expected, so that issue is expected to be resolved in the patch this Tuesday. But additionally, Bungie plan to give us a bundle of Strange coins as compensation for earning fewer coins than intended, although this will drop in a future update, so it's not going to be available this reset. Something unexpected that will be happening at Reset though is the nerf for Still Hunt and Celestial Nighthawk. Now, originally Bungie had said that this would drop on August 6th, but they've just updated and said that they've actually managed to ship the fix for today, so this will be dropping in the patch later on. But Bungie add that while testing the change, we discovered that a slightly larger reduction in Golden Gun damage was required to bring this exotic pairing into line with other classes, and the updated total reduction to Still Hunt's Golden Gun damage when using Celestial Nighthawk will now be 33% less than the current functionality, and our patch notes have been updated for tomorrow to reflect that. So originally they'd said that the nerf would be a 25% damage change, but it's a bit more than that at 33%. And on top of the fact that the nerf is going to be just a bit more significant than what we thought, it's also been brought forward to today's update. So I think many of us were hoping that Still Hunt and the current artifact mods that were added in Act 2 would stick around and be at least at their existing power level for a little while longer, but unfortunately that won't be the case. So that's another update coming today, but otherwise in terms of patch notes, I'll have to keep you posted on if we get any of the other changes Bungie outlined for the mid-season patch today at Reset. Another change that Bungie have implemented for this reset though is that from July 23rd, all Master Challenges will be available for the full week up until July 30th. So if you're looking to complete Master Salvation's Edge challenges, it's a good time to do them this week, as the weekly rollout will essentially be scrapped and all of them will be available, which gives us access to things like the Turmoil Engine Sparrow, Iconoclast title, and there'll be additional Adept weapons along the way. So if you're looking to get triumphs, any of those objectives completed, this will be the week to do it. Otherwise, the episode content continues rolling out, so we've got the second week of Act 2's content. If you want a quick preview of the quest steps for this week's quest, a very mild spoiler alert is necessary as there are no real story elements here, but Failsafe is newly briefed on the Echo of Command and has some objectives for us, and we'll need to harvest Radiolite to gather the materials that Failsafe requires, before visiting Failsafe once again in the Helm, and then we'll need to deploy nanobots at specified locations. So obviously this is some new tech that Failsafe's got access to. And after that, there are a couple of classified steps. One of them almost certainly will send us into the new battleground that we're getting this week, which is Battleground Core. And so the third battleground for Act 2 will drop and complete the trifecta, I suppose. So that's the sort of weekly quest portion. On top of that though, we will get a new NES research quest, and this should be NES 005. And once we complete these, of course, we get upgrades at Failsafe. It's possible that one of the upgrades this week will allow us to focus for the newly added legendary weapons for Act 2, although there are a couple of upgrades that we'll get in the next 2 weeks, so we just don't know which one we'll get. Although it's worth doing if you're looking to get all of the episode stuff completed. On a separate note, some players have asked questions about the Perfect Paradox, which was added back as part of this act, but it hasn't dropped yet. And the best I can tell based on the database is that next week's quest will actually give us a specific mission with Saint 14. And once that's completed, we'll be able to visit Saint as one of the quest steps, and he'll give us the Perfect Paradox, which will unlock it into the loot pool so we can get random drops and things like that. So Perfect Paradox will be next week starting July 30th. And otherwise, that pretty much rounds up what we know about the episode content for the week. Outside of that though, there are going to be some pretty decent farmable activities this reset. So firstly, the Vex Excalibur will be farmable from the Avalon mission. That'll be the featured exotic mission for the week. And as far as we know, repeated runs of that will also drop all of the catalyst upgrades for it. So if you never picked up the Excalibur, it'd be good to jump into that activity. And apparently, we should be seeing Season of Defiance weapons, as well as some of the Techian themed armor as additional random drops in that activity this week. So a good catch-up activity. And then we've got Crota's End as the featured raid. I don't believe this has previously happened, but it will make all of the legendary gear completely farmable. And apparently you can do repeated runs to get drops of the Oversoul items for the Necrochasm quest. I'm not sure if we'll get additional ones because it is a featured mission, but after the initial run for the week, I believe the final boss has additional chances to give it. So that's something to keep in mind. But otherwise, Heart Shadow will also be farmable this week from the Duality Dungeon, which is featured. So a few good things to go after there, potentially. And otherwise, we do get bonus loot from Crucible playlists this week, and we've got Liminality as the featured Nightfall, which was the one that Bungie teased is going to be very difficult. So especially given that this will now be able to launch in a Grandmaster, that should certainly be interesting this reset. But for the weapon, I'll keep you posted once we get access to the vendor info, as the rotations just seem to keep changing, so I don't want to make any promises about that. But those are the core reset things. The only other thing to mention is that Bungie bounties are beginning once again, and they'll kick off starting today. So this time, the Aurora Clash emblem is featured, and while the Bungie bounties are live, basically the idea is to try and get into a game with the featured creators. If you manage to get on the team of a featured creator, if you win, you'll get access to the emblem, but if you're on the opposing team and you defeat them or beat them in the actual game mode, you'll get the emblem as well. So that's how that works. And week 1 between the 23rd and 29th of July will be PvP focused. You can see some of the creators there at the top who will be featured this week. But it will be going on for a few weeks, so I'll link Bungie's most recent update down below that has the full schedule, game modes, and exactly how all of the Bungie bounty stuff works if you want to try and take part. For today though guys, that is what we have to speak about. So as always, I hope this one has been useful. If it has, a rating below very much helps us out on the channel. Also get subscribed if you want to be kept up to date. Let us know any things that you plan to get done inside of the game this reset as well. But otherwise, I appreciate you tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.
I was once the Vax's greatest opponent. I should remind them.
I never thought I'd see him shaken up like that. He's always so strong.
Do not forget what you're dealing with. Uploaded, judged, and eliminated.
I will be ready.